Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. I want you to put in the chat with the one, how many of you have heard of AI in any capacity? Add a one in the chat. There are a few ones in the chat. All right, now, how many of you have actually used AI to help with your writing process, whether that's drafting or editing or organizing content? Make that a 2 in the chat. That's perfect. This shows us just how much AI has entered our everyday lives. And sometimes without us even realizing it, whether we know it or not, AI is shaping the way we think, we work, and communicate. So for those of you who haven't exactly tried it yet, AI can be an incredible assistant in the writing process, especially for nonfiction books. And we are going to talk a little bit about dipping our toe in the water, so to speak, about writing nonfiction books with AIs. Before we talk more about AI, put in the chat, what kinds of books do you think you can write, nonfiction books that you can write with AI? Just plop a few answers in the chat. I'm watching the chat. Children, about recovery, recipe book, science topics, leadership, recipe notes, and it continues. Some common types of nonfiction include self-help, which is personal development, productivity, memoirs and autobiographies, how-to guides, like we just saw example, cooking, fitness, DIY projects, educational or technical books, for example, technology, business, science, and business books, which, if you think about it, it's all about leadership, entrepreneurship, etc. Regardless of the type, birds, April, regardless of the type, nonfiction typically requires research, structure, clarity, and accuracy. And that is where AI comes in. Now, you all would have received a list of different kinds of AI tools you could use. And if you have any questions, we can talk about that later. But let's go into a little bit deeper. What is AI? Artificial intelligence is a tool. It can process large amounts of data and generate human-like responses. It mimics how we think and write, and it uses patterns and massive amounts of text to provide suggestions, content drafts, and much more. It is the ability of machines to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. It's about making computers think and learn in ways that mimic the human brain, but on a much larger scale. So imagine AI as a super fast student. And Kelly will be able to relate since she is at the university. Just like how we learn by reading, observation, and practicing. AI learns by analyzing huge amounts of data. It recognizes all those patterns that are created within the data, and then it makes predictions and decisions based on that knowledge. So remember, what we feed into AI, that is how we can create a response back to us. The more data it's exposed to, the smarter it gets. AI is behind a lot of the technology we use today. And I want you to think a little bit. Where do we use AI in our daily lives? Put it in the chat. What do you think? Netflix, recommending what movie you should watch next. Siri, Alexa, Google, even your email inbox filtering out spam. Yes, social media algorithms. If you are used to tools like Google Translate when you're traveling, or even Grammarly to help you with your syntax like I have to, because English is my second language, you've already interacted with AI. So now we're going to go a little bit further in how AI can be used specifically in writing. So why use AI for nonfiction writing? Give me an idea. Why do you think we want to use AI to write nonfiction books? Speed up outline and research. Tammy Nitschak. Imagination, clarity. Yes, efficiency. AI can help you draft content faster, particularly the first draft, which can often be the hardest part. Think about it. When you start writing, you wonder, how do I start? Where do I start? What kind of outline do I want when I want to write a nonfiction book? It also, yes, with structure, brainstorming. It's a research assistance. AI tools can help summarize articles. It can research papers or blogs to give you concise information quickly. Think about it. How many times have you gone to Google and searched for something? And that's not even an AI tool like we're talking about writing. Just with Google, it searches all through the networks to be able to find information for you. The other thing AI can do is idea generation, and we've had it here already in the chat. When you're stuck, how to begin or how to even expand a section, AI can help transform and brainstorm your chapter ideas, your topics, and your structure. It can give you an outline. I suggest, as the AI, I am going to give you 10 topics for 10 chapters. Let me know what you think. So that, I mean, it doesn't talk like that, but you got the idea. That is me being the AI telling you how it's going to react. However, remember, the goal of AI is not to replace your writing with any AI-generated content. It's to enhance and accelerate the process. That's the big difference. And I want you to understand that AI can never replace our brains. It can never come up with the unique ideas that we all have growing and formulating and moving around in our brains. But the knowledge it has, it can give you ideas based on that. I know some of you probably think, so how do I start? What do I do if I want to start writing a book, a chapter book, an ebook, very similar to what you can get tonight as my gift to you? I created an ebook, and in there you will see there are little chapters and there's writing, and it was AI generated. I gave the input. I told it, this is what I want. This is how I want you to write it. And it's just a short ebook. When you do a workbook, however, or a chapter book, when you write a real nonfiction book, you will have your input. You will ask for ideas. AI will generate you the information. But what makes a book unique, what makes a book written by you, are your ideas, your experience, your life, your personal stories. That is what will make a book unique, because there's only one you. Only one you. No one else on this planet thinks like you, acts like you, has the life experiences that you've had. Remember that. That is what you need to create a fantastic nonfiction workbook or chapter book. So to make this a little bit more practical, let's go for some prompts. And you can use any AI tools. You can use ChatGPT, Jasper, WriteSonic. You can use Perplexity. There are so many. It's personal preference and what you would like to use. So for brainstorming, you can go, we're going to use ChatGPT because most people have heard of it. You can get a free version, which you must remember that it will only go back to, I think it's September 2020, 21, round about there. It will not go back before that. If you have a paid version, then it can research and even give you access to those resources on the web. So you decide what you want to do and which format you want to use and which AI tool you want to use. Okay, you want to talk. We had one about birds here, I think. So let's use birds as the topic. Hello, ChatGPT. I want to write a nonfiction book on birds. Could you generate 5 chapter ideas for this nonfiction book about birds? And then it will come down and it will give you some information. And you can say, but I only want birds in South America. And then you can say, I only want birds in Argentina. And then you can say, I only want birds with colored feathers. So you see how you can go down the rabbit hole and you can continue your research until you find that topic that is really unique and that you connect with. All right. You can also say, create an outline for a nonfiction book on birds. So, there's the outline. It will give you an outline. Sometimes it suggests up to 10 chapters or something. It will give you different topics. It will give you headers. It will tell you what it thinks. And you can say, give me 10 more topics, chapter ideas, or I like number 3, 4, 5, but I don't like the others, give me more. So it's a total conversation. And what AI does, it does more research every time to be able to get what you are after. For drafting, you could use something like, write an introductory paragraph for a chapter on birds. We're going to stick with birds tonight. So ChatGPT or whichever tool you use will now say, okay, I am going to continue with this. I'm going to write you this introductory paragraph on what we discussed previously, because it remembers everything that was discussed. And then you can use it for research, and you can say, summarize the latest research on diets in simple terms. And it will come back and it will summarize the latest research in it. And you can also say, please include your resources, because you always, always, always have to double check the resources. There have been moments when the AI tools might come up, and where they got the idea from, who knows, but you need to confirm that your resources are correct and the information is correct. And then you can use it for editing, and you can say, improve the clarity and the structure of this paragraph on how to put on makeup. And you might have written something, and ChatGPT or whatever tool you use will go and it will change and it will enhance the clarity. Even for little titles, I want to change a title on this. It will change it for you. Now, we need to talk about ethical considerations as we work through the AI tools. It's important to understand that the AI-generated content reflects your unique voice. You should always, as I mentioned earlier, personalize the content and add your insights. In fact, you can sometimes say, use Mel Gibson's voice. And what they do is the way he talks, the AI tool can come back and it can write in that voice. Or maybe in, heck, I don't know, Celine Dion, the way, her melodramatic, the song. So whatever the case might be, it can come back and it can help you do that. It's also good practice to be transparent with your readers or clients if AI played a significant role in creating the content. Now there's a quick question I want you to think about. What type of book? You don't have to answer now because we can have questions and answers, but what type of book are you thinking about writing? And how do you think AI could help you start it? Think a little bit about that. How do you think AI can help you? And then you can put it in the chat. So think a little bit. To wrap this up, before we have our questions and answers, AI can be an incredible tool for writing nonfiction, from generating ideas, structuring content, to speeding up the drafting and editing processes. Remember, AI is here to assist, but it's your knowledge, creativity, and expertise that will bring your book to life. And I encourage you to try out one of the tools that I've added in the give out and to see how much easier the writing process can become.
Well, thank you very much, Irma, for that very insightful presentation and the call to action for all of us to try out some of the AI tools. I personally use ChatGPT for many of my writing things as a classroom teacher. We have some time for questions and answers for Irma. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and I will read them out to Irma. Okay, we have a comment here who says, thanks, Irma, for sharing your thoughts on AI. Perplexity is a great research tool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tammy, for that comment.
I like Perplexity as well, yes.
Okay, that's one I have not had an opportunity to use. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it while people are thinking of other questions to ask you.
It's very similar to ChatGPT. And in fact, I am in a group where we put the two together with the input we had. And we managed to compare the answers, and it was similar. So the resources, they might come about it a different way. But yes, so ChatGPT is an AI tool, uh, Darlene, that you can do it for free. You sign up with an email, and it really enhances. You can ask it anything. You can ask it to do research, to just write a speech for you. You can say, I'm a Toastmaster, and I want a speech for a contest on this topic. Glenn, the cost, so it's $20 for ChatGPT, the paid version. So it costs $26 a month. And I pay it with a smile because I use it all the time since I speak all over the world. And I have many speeches I need to write. So it helps me a lot with speeches, with speech writing.
Perfect. I have a question here from Besna. It says, is there a risk of over-reliance on AI in creative processes, and how do you suggest authors avoid it?
Absolutely. And that is where we come in. We as human beings, you can go through all these AI tools like Alexa, like Siri. I don't have it in my house because I don't want them listening to me. And they do. I have heard stories about it. But regarding writing nonfiction books, you can help it for your, use it for your outline, use it for your chapter ideas, use it for your foreword, for writing. If you're going to maybe write an essay, or you want to write something and endorse someone else's book, it can help you with that. And like Twyla, like you said, you use it a lot because you teach. And that is what it's about. It's a tool. We should never think it's going to take over our brains. Never. We are unique, and we tell the AI tool what we like, what we don't like, what we think it shouldn't do, what we think can be done. And that is very interesting. Okay, Michelle, I saw this question, and it's pretty cool. Do I think people will think differently? No, because you can say you used AI, but in the end, you personalized the story. You personalized the book. That is what makes it unique. I mean, you can go to Google and you can spend 20 hours to come up with the same research. Any of these AI tools are going to come up with in 5 minutes. You can do that. And then you can say, I did do it all by myself. What is it different going to Google or Bing or any of those other search tools and going to an AI tool that can do the research for you and cut your time? Because at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of time. We live busy lives. So, and you learn. You can find so much information, and it can get overwhelming. So you need to learn that you don't want all the chaff. Is that what they call it? You just want the weeds. You just want that which is important. You don't want the extra stuff. And through practice, you learn how to do it. So I would suggest play around with some of the links I sent to you and that you should have, and try it out and have a look and see what you like.
Hey, similar question there. It's Vinitha asks, my question is, won't AI generate the same information for everyone, and will that not diminish the value of your output?
That is a great question, Vinita, and here is my take on it. When I did my TEDx talk, I discussed how the format was going to look like. after I asked ChatGPT this question. I said, if I give you any information, any personal information, I mean, not your bank account and your social insurance number, nothing like that, but your name, this is your website, this is where the same thing people are going to find when they Google you, when they look for you, when you're on social media, all those things. And I said to her, are you discussing what we talk about with other people? There is a block on any AI that I heard of, but specifically ChatGPT. It is not allowed to discuss what you talked about. So if it comes with ideas to you and you ask for ideas, think about it. Your questions are different. The way you approach a topic is different. And because we are such different people, no one is ever going to ask the exact same questions to create the exact same book. Think about how many recipe books that are out there. Think about how many self-help books about mental health. Think about how many books there are to lose weight, to work out, how to put on makeup, how to dress, color code your house. Think about it. There are millions and millions of these books around, and they're all different because the person that writes the book, when they input their stories, their personal experiences, their take on things, maybe something they've dealt with, maybe polls they've run, and they have all these answers from people they coach, and they've come across these experiences and these issues. It makes it unique. So no, it will never be the same, identical as anyone else's.
We just have a few comments in the chat box here. Svetlana is complimenting that great attitude to AI tools and that thank you for spreading the understanding and knowledge instead of fears. And also saying that it's a research tool and that we still do have to check to make sure that it doesn't give you wrong information and that you can personalize that. Now, if we have no more questions, I will turn it back over to Vesna to lead us into the next section of the evening. So thank you very much, Irma, for your knowledge and experiences tonight, and look forward to reading your book and taking a look at the ebook that you prepared for us.